Welcome, everybody, to the International Brotherhood of Magicians official podcast. So excited to have you here with us. I'm Jason Michaels, joined by my co-host Ben Young and Scott Cantrell, and we have a special guest,
Yes.
Tiffany Allen Sauvage.
Yay.
How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you guys?
I think we're doing
Great.
well, fellas. How are
We're
you?
we're okay, right, Scott? We
Yeah.
okay?
We're good. We're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I want to
Okay.
look. I want to.
Glad that you are here because
I'm
this is
glad to
going
be
to be
here.
a lot more fun than our normal conversations.
It will be. It's going to
Oh.
be cool. If
I
you're
try to be
watching
fun.
online, it's already better because the three guys are all wearing dark clothes, and Tiffany has this really nice sort of red, like
Dr. Pepper
of
red.
pop of color. I like it. I like it. So what's everybody been up to? What's been going on? Tiff, we always, Scott and Ben and I always talk about what we've been doing. Tell us about what you've been up to. I know that you live in France, but you're from the United
Mhm.
States. So where are you in the world?
Where am I in the world? Right now, I'm in Virginia. My sister got married over the weekend, so
Oh,
I
exciting.
was
Did you do
there.
magic at the wedding?
I did. Okay, well, I wasn't supposed to. I wasn't supposed to. I did a speech at the reception, not the reception, the rehearsal dinner. And I was like, I've performed in front of thousands of people. I'm going to be fine. And I was told very specifically not to do magic. So I didn't do magic in the speech. I only made it about 5 seconds in before I absolutely lost it because
Oh,
it's my little sister.
Yeah.
Like she's 6 feet tall and I'm 5'5". So I love calling her my little sister.
right.
So I was like, okay, I'm not going to do magic there. And then I was just too overcome by emotion to do it.
Oh.
But then at the reception, I had a couple Cosmos and
Okay, things are getting interesting now.
right. No, also the thing that they did with their wedding was fantastic. So anybody who is getting married, like consider this because what they did a fake exit and they had all of these t-shirts. They had custom printed t-shirts that said, I went to the Duffield wedding and all I got was this stupid t-shirt. And the smallest size that they had was a large, went all the way up to 3X. So every person at the wedding got one. You go back to your room or whatever. You change into like leggings, your oversized shirt, comfortable shoes, and then you come back and that's when the dance party happens.
That's cool.
Wow, that's
So
cool.
it was great. And I went out. I can also wear a child size 4 shoe, which means I can wear light up shoes. So I got some light up shoes and wore those on the dance floor. And between the light up shoes and the Cosmos, I started doing magic with the sashes that some of the girls were wearing around their dress that they weren't
Oh, God,
like
I
they
thought you
didn't
said
change.
mustaches, and I was like, how in the
Oh my
world
God,
did you do
sashes.
magic with mustaches?
Well, since you asked. Uh,
Okay,
no,
sorry.
sashes. And like one of them had like a scarf, so I'm doing like the rope through the neck and like completely floored everybody. And I'm like, that's pretty much the only thing I'm capable of doing right now after some wine and Cosmos. But that was only magic that I did. But when my mom got remarried a couple years ago, I did anniversary waltz, and she and her husband still have the card that they both
Cool.
signed. So that's really sweet. They actually have it. It's not up here. It's somewhere because I'm at her house right now. So
Okay,
it's
cool.
somewhere around here. But no, I that was only magic that I did. But I'm in the States until November. So
Okay.
y'all are stuck with me for a little bit.
I'm actually
Mhm.
going to see you, and we'll talk about that.
No,
We're doing a show together at the end of the
we're doing
month,
a
so
show
I'm
together. I'm
excited about
excited.
that. We're going to
It'll
talk
be fun.
about that a little bit later, but yeah, Scott, Ben, you guys been doing anything? You've been showing up, doing magic tricks, just hanging out, doing nothing.
Yep.
Yep.
Love your responses.
So
All right,
much
let's keep it.
enthusiasm.
I
Great.
know, so much enthusiasm. Okay, let's just get right to it. I was told that we cannot talk about what it's like to be a woman in magic, so why don't you just tell me what it's like to be a woman?
It depends on the day. About 1 month, 1 week a month, it sucks.
Okay.
But
No, here's the thing, Tiff. You're going to have an interesting perspective because there's going to be certain things that are just different. You know what I
there
mean? I
are,
mean,
yeah.
so I think it's cool. I think magicians are magicians. I will tell you this. Um, when I am out performing, it is not. It is somewhat frequent nowadays, especially. All right, let me just back up. At House of Cards, they have a brunch on Sundays, and they actually have a brunch on Saturdays and Sundays. And so you meet, and the brunch is designed for families, and it's designed because House of Cards is a 21 and over establishment. All three of us live, Ben, Scott, and I live in Nashville. House of Cards is in Nashville. We perform there. But when you're performing on a brunch day, you're seeing kids. You're seeing 13-year-olds. You're seeing 5-year-olds. You're seeing, all ages. And because their parents want their kids to be able to enjoy this really cool experience. I
Right.
am seeing so many little girls come in
Yeah.
and see magic and say things like, I know a magic trick. And I'm like, can you do it? Because I'm like,
Right.
but
Show it to me.
what I always tell them is I say this, I literally say, hey, keep doing magic because we need more magic in the world. And I tell you what I don't say.
Yeah.
I don't say we need more girls who do magic because that doesn't matter.
Thank
What I
you.
say is we need more magic in the world. But I think it's
Love
so
that.
cool because now we have actual like people they can look up to. There,
Right.
in the past, then it was just, it was just sort of an archetype of a magician.
Mm.
But now we have, because of social media, they can hop on their phones or on their parents', YouTube accounts or whatever, and they can see that a magician has all shapes, sizes, looks. And so I
Right.
just think I think it's an interesting time in magic. Do you feel as though there's a shift in the magic sort of, just the sort of community or maybe the landscape of magic?
Yeah, honestly, I do. Like when I was coming up in magic, I didn't have a lot of women that I could look up to. The first woman that I ever saw perform magic was Jade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got to meet her at my first magic convention and when I was like in my 20s. And it was just amazing for me. So I had like Jade, I had Tina Leonard. I actually met them both at that convention. But now, I mean, you've got so many and it's
Hmm.
fantastic. And like you said, like it's not that one size fits all thing. It's like everybody has their own style, their own like not just the way they look, but like their own style of magic, like how
Mhm.
diverse it's become, and showing that, you know, you can all do a similar trick, but it's how you present it differently that is going to make you the kind of magician that you want to be, or that's going to
Yeah.
bring that entertainment value, I think. And I do also think that a lot of that is that magic's just become more accessible.
Yeah.
Like all I had coming up was, the world's greatest magic or, the TV specials and all that. But now, you've got YouTube, you've got TikTok, you've got threads, you've got, I know there's stuff I don't even know about. I mean, I used to be a little bit more plugged in when I was teaching kids. Like I learned a lot about Roblox a couple years ago. But like, so I know there's stuff I'm missing, but I think having it more accessible is really bringing it to the forefront and showing, kids and people like you can do it. You don't just because you don't fit that ideal that you may have had of what a magician or a performer is, doesn't mean you can't do it because there are other people doing different stuff. Why can't you?
Sure. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Well, hopefully we're creating new ideals, right? Where to
Right,
your point, Tiffany, it's not just one ideal, it's many, many, many people we can look to for ideal.
yeah,
Based on where you're starting from, what you want to do, what attracts you to magic, you can find that person and say, that's the person I want to be like, as opposed to
right,
everybody coming up and saying, another David Copperfield clone. No offense to David,
right,
but I mean
right,
that was the world I grew up in, right? And it's like that's
yeah,
that's the ideal, right? Or before
mhm,
him, Doug Henning, and before him, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
right,
Yeah, the diversity in the art form has expanded a lot. There's still a lot of
mhm.
room for more of
Oh
that,
yeah,
and we need to make sure that we're encouraging it. But yeah, I like this idea of uh, removing an ideal and having,
yeah.
a
I love
plethora
that.
of them. Yeah.
It's like I'm an artist too. So like when I'm not doing magic and I'm not doing my day job, like I paint and I do all that. So and I truly think magic is an art form, but I mean like you go into a museum, you're seeing all these different types of artwork, and
Yeah.
there's as many kinds of magic that you can do as there are different types of artwork.
Yep.
Hmm.
That's right.
Tell us more about your art. What type of, I mean, you say you're drawing, you're painting, you're like, how
Yeah,
does that inform your magic in any way, shape, or form? And if so,
very
how?
yes. So I'm working on a routine right now for my full show that is fully based on Van Gogh because I have a very, I don't want to say like a close relationship because obviously I never met him, but like in researching him and everything, I've just found a lot of parallels, and just him as a person is super interesting. And I want to tell a story about him that not everybody knows, like him as a person. So that has influenced it. And also, I'm very picky about how my props look. So I end up making, I think I've made all of my props at this point.
Mhm.
Uh,
Are you
what little
serious?
props?
You've like constructed them yourself?
hmm Yeah,
Oh
or
wow.
at least change them. Like when I performed at Winter Carnival, even the stool that I had on stage, I didn't like how it looked because it was just one of those like black polka dot fold out stools, so I could travel with it. And I didn't like how it looked, so I covered it in wooden contact paper so it would fit the aesthetic. And then I ran out of it, so then I painted part of it to look like wood
Oh
because
wow.
I just didn't, I thought it looked too modern. So I'm very picky on aesthetics. So being an artist has yeah, really informed it, but also like made me kind of a diva with my props.
Well, you know what you want, you know, and
I do.
apparently you're able to create that. So you not only do
Mhm.
you go, you have an image for it in your head, but you go, I know how to make it look like that. So because you have the
Yeah,
techniques, do
yeah.
Yep.
you do you have anything like have you ever turned any of your paintings into like I don't know, like can you like I know like a big painting, have you ever like shrunk it down to like you know do some sort of a routine with it, like turn it into playing cards or turn it into smaller things and have some, I don't know what it would look like, but have you ever used,
Right.
yeah, have you ever even, I mean maybe have you considered it, is that the type of is that the type of direction
No.
you're going, or I guess tell me, yeah, to answer that question, but also in the broader context of, you know, what direction are you taking your magic?
hmm so I haven't done it in that. The closest I've done is a mental photography deck where my magic
Yeah.
wand was a paintbrush.
Oh, that's
So
cool. Fun.
yeah, so it was great. It was when I was working at the Magic Canvas with Scott and Janet Robinson, and we were doing shows. And so it fit in because it was a magic themed paint and sip. So we're surrounded by paintings, and I was the lead artist. So I did all the paint and sips, but I also performed on the weekends. So it was the absolute perfect job for me. But it fit that
Cool.
venue and my persona so well because it's like, no, I don't have a magic wand. I have a paintbrush. I painted all 20 of these paintings. Here, let's paint a deck of cards. And
That's
it
cool.
was really fun. I never made one, but I wanted to do a custom one where it actually looked painted because I
Mm.
was just doing the classic metal photography, just added that prop. But I want to do one where they look painted.
Nice. Nice.
There's so much, there's something to be said for, having a creative idea and then just going all in with it,
hmm
right? And I think a lot of us stop short, myself included. I get lazy. And I mean, the stool example is great, because you have this like plastic stool. And
What
I
did
think
you
so
just
much of
say?
us,
The stool
A
example?
stool
What?
example.
God, I swear.
it's a
Oh
good
God.
sample.
Oh God.
Um,
We got a period joke. We got a poop
that
joke.
was
So
that
classy.
was Jason's
So
best
classy.
ad lib.
Uh,
Um,
oh, we're taking,
but
we got scores going now. Okay.
but it
Yeah.
uh it's such a good example. And because I think so much of us would go, oh, I need a stool for this. I need to stand on a stool. And now I can't say stool without cracking up. So thanks for that.
Step.
But
A step. I don't know.
but
Where's
to
my
have, and
thesaurus?
and this is something that we were actually talking about a little bit in our last episode, about sort of having the opening your eyes to like what you're missing.
hmm
And we were talking before in the previous episode, we were talking about having a line in the show that didn't make sense. It made sense in the routine, but in the context of the whole show didn't make sense. But having these things where you stop yourself and you go, oh, right, no, this doesn't look right for what I'm doing. It doesn't make sense for the character. It doesn't make sense for the show. Having those thoughts is like so huge. And it can be hard because we fall into patterns. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah. And it's like if it's just good enough, it's like, oh, I'll do it later, and then you forget about it.
Exactly.
But I realize if I'm not doing it right when I think about it, I'm probably not going to do it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I just like I bought it off of Amazon, and then I was like, ah, that's not going to look right. And then I did another order for contact
Mhm.
paper, and there it was.
And you're someone that has, I mean, we've been friends for a long time. So
Mm.
Actually,
you
let me
have
jump in and say the reason we have Tiff as part of today's podcast is because of Ben. So
Yay,
big
Ben.
big props to Ben. Good job,
Hey,
Ben.
Ben.
In fact, we'll
Yay.
just let you lead the rest of the podcast, Ben. You're in charge.
Okay, great. Well,
We're doomed.
so Tiff, you have a lot of different shows and a lot of different characters.
Yep.
And that is something that I was thinking about, like preparing for this, like to talk about the creativity and like really going all in. So I'm glad that we touched on that already. But I think I would be remiss. We've been going for what, 15 minutes or so,
I
and
know.
we haven't talked about what you're best known for, which is the
Oh,
Georgia
yeah.
Wonder Act.
The
And
Georgia Wonder.
so, and what's so cool is that at the Winter Carnival of Magic earlier this year, the three of us all saw you do it. And I knew you did it, but I had never seen it done live. I had never seen you perform it. And it was like incredible. Like even knowing what's going to happen, knowing a little bit of kind of the methodology, it's still mind blowing. And I'm sure the guys have their eyebrows raised, or one of them
Well,
does. So
Jason didn't just see it. I used him.
I
He was
know.
my audience
yeah,
participant.
I got
yeah.
thrown around the stage. Let me just say real quickly, when I knew that you were going to lecture, I said because I was like, "Oh, she's lecturing on the Wonder Act, or it's also called the Magnet Act, right?"
Yeah.
So I said to myself, that I absolutely have to. I have to be there to see that. No, and I'm not joking because you as a young magician, like you read in the books and you hear about these things and these
Right.
things that were done 100 years ago, and they sound so fantastical, but
Mhm.
then you don't read what you're doing, which you'll describe it here in a minute, is that it's some of these things that are these fantastical, incredible demonstrations. And I was like, I have to see this because I can already tell this is going to be, if it is even close to what I think it is, it's going to be unbelievable. And I was so happy. No, no, I thought your lecture for me was one of the highlights of Winter Carnival. It was
Thank
great.
you.
And because it was lecture, but it was also performance, and
Mhm.
and literally the fact that I got to go on stage and you like just completely out muscled me, I was like, this is awesome. So
So real quick, Jason, because I actually get this question and I cannot answer it, but you were one person who can answer this. Um, what does it feel like when I am overpowering you? Because like I'll if you're like, oh, what does it feel like to the guy? And I'm like, I have no idea. I literally don't know.
yeah, I
So
feel
like
like a
when you're trying
sissy
to
is
lift
what
my
I'm
hand,
just a big
right?
old sissy.
No, but I mean, like they ask, like, are they playing along? Are they like
No,
actually exhibiting force? Like,
no,
because
no.
I've
I mean,
gotten bruised
yeah,
before
no,
doing this.
it's wild. It is wild. But okay, you know what? Let me answer that. But why don't you tell people what it is so that they
Sure.
fully
Thank
Yeah.
you,
understand what
thank
we're
you,
Let's get
talking
Jason.
about?
everybody up to
Thank
speed.
you.
Sorry. Let's
Thanks for letting me run
circle.
this one. So
Sorry.
The runaway train. Sorry, Ben. Back to you.
yeah,
Back to Ben
so
with the
for
Hey,
brother.
Ben, before you continue, I just want to interject for about 20 minutes.
Honestly, I
Uh,
would love to hear from Scott.
no, go ahead, Ben.
So some people may not know what the Georgia Wonder or Georgia Magnet Act is, and we can certainly talk about like the history of it as well later. But what's the like big picture idea of what this act is? Because it is old. There's not a lot of people doing it. So like, what is it? Why are you talking about throwing Jason around and making him feel emasculated and
Thank you.
for
Thank
our
you for
entertainment?
standing up for
What's this
me.
about?
Because that's what I do. No, so
Oh, I almost did a spit take on that one. Oh, very nice.
so the elevator pitch here is that it was an act, and I think it's very important in the history. I won't go super far into it yet. But it was an act done in the 1880s, primarily by three teenage women who were all 90 pounds or lighter. And they would bring men up on stage and they would overpower them. So these men would try to pick them up. One second they could, the next they couldn't. They would try to lift their hand off their head. They would do things with an umbrella where the Georgia Wonder, the performer, she would have her hand open, like against the umbrella, and then the men would try to move it away from her, and they couldn't do it. So it's most of them said that they had supernatural forces. I use lipstick because that is my superpower. But yeah, so it's like Jason was saying, it's that thing you always hear about at, magic groups and that kind of thing. It's like, oh, that thing, it works on physics. And it just kind of stops there. Like that's where everybody kind of ends. And it's like, of course it works on physics. Everything works on physics. If it doesn't,
The
I
whole
have
world.
issues. That's how the world works. That's how a double lift works. Come on. So I started researching it, and there's not a ton of research out there about it. There's Barry Wiley's book about Lulu Hurst, and then there's Lulu Hurst's autobiography that she wrote, and I am pretty sure self-published when she was about 18 or 19 in 1890, which is phenomenal. So the act now is, cool and amazing, but if you can imagine being like the 1880s, like women still couldn't go out on their own without a chaperone. So for them to go up on stage and like I can never do the act as it was truly intended, because the way that they ended the act was they were literally throwing the men off the stage into the orchestra pit. Like I read
That
firsthand
sounds like a
reviews.
long drop.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they broke arms, ankles, all kinds of stuff. One guy, he was
Fantastic.
actually punctured by one of the umbrella spokes. And I think he
Oh.
got like tetanus or something.
Oh my gosh.
For
Yeah, no, I mean
starters.
yeah,
Right.
just yeah, to be good. So it's I've actually gotten injured doing the act before, like besides the usual bruises and stuff. I have cracked a rib doing the act.
Wow.
Yeah, somebody
Dang.
lifted me wrong. I didn't I quickly learned after that how to tell them how to position their hands on me, but I wear a steel bone corset, and they just lifted me wrong, and it went right into a rib I'd already damaged, and it cracked it.
Oof.
Wow.
Yeah, no,
That's
that was fun. I went through the rest of the show with it, and that was an interesting doctor's visit.
Yeah, how did you do
happen?
this?
Oh, let me tell
Well,
you.
I was proving my strength.
No,
And
well, think about it. I went in there, I had a cracked rib, and I had bruises in the shape of fingerprints on my arm. And
Oh
like my
yeah.
doctor, he was wonderful. He like had a female nurse come in and like ask me if I was safe and everything. And I was like,
yeah,
I literally live alone. Like, I'm just a
yeah.
magician.
So this was my own doing.
I just thought people paid to see this happen to me.
Yeah.
That's a whole
So
different show.
I feel like because I really would like to see you actually throw people off the stage. Do you
Wouldn't that
think
be
that
fun?
there's a world where maybe they could sign a waiver and they would have to volunteer ahead of time, sign the thing? Maybe you have like, Jason saying no. I was
I'm
padding
going
on the
with Jason on
floor.
this one.
Mm,
Okay, maybe, but like at that point, is it less fun? Not fun. Is it less like of a spectacle because like you have all these things set up and it's like, are they just playing along? Like,
Mm,
did she just hire set
mm,
performers or that
good
kind of
point.
thing? Like, it
mm.
loses that. Like, if they've signed waivers and everything, and I've got everything set up like that. The thing I love about the act is it is so stripped down.
Yeah.
I have basically two props, but I can do it without those if I need to. Like when I came to Winter Carnival, my bags got delayed and I was like freaking out at first. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And I'm like, oh, wait, I'm fine. I don't need anything. Like
Hmm.
if nothing makes
Wow.
it, I don't need anything. I can do it right now. So
Oh,
that is one thing I love about. But when you start adding in other stuff, I feel like it takes away some of the charm, I guess, of it and the
Sure,
impossibility of it.
sure.
So
No, that's
now,
really interesting. Oh,
no, it just
sorry,
seems to me
Jason.
like now that we know what the actual demonstration is, to speak from the point of view of someone who like 1 minute I can lift your hand off of your head, and then the next minute you zap the strength out of me, and I literally can the exact same thing that I just did just a few seconds ago. I can now not lift your hand off of your head. And there were multiple demonstrations like this. And it's weird because I exercise a lot. I enjoy physical fitness. I'm a big dude. People see me and they're like, "Oh,
And
you're a
you're
big
at
dude."
least a foot taller than me.
Yeah, I'm
Like you've
six
got to
foot.
be.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I'm a foot tall, but I'm 6'1", 240, so I'm not a small guy.
Yeah.
So the point is, when, you bring up these, and I'm sure you've done this where you bring up, spry, 20 somethings that are like, I'm going to show her. But,
Mhm.
the point is when you go up there and, and you're like, okay, put your hands here and lift me. And you're like, okay, all right, I can lift you. And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, lift me again. And you're like, and you're literally just like, it's weird because it doesn't feel like you lose strength. It feels like you just it can't be done. It's just like, wait a second, I just did this. Why can I not do this now? I literally just did this. I don't think I've actually been zapped of strength. I'm still sure I think I have my strength, but I cannot do what she's asking me to do that I just did. So it is a weird feeling when it's just like it's like it's almost like you have an invisible like block on me where it's just like, okay, and I'll take away the invisible block and you can do what I'm asking you to do. And then I put up this invisible block and the block just like you keep running into the block and getting stopped from doing what you're being asked to do. It was exceptionally cool. Like it was so cool. Like
Thank you.
I think I would have enjoyed it watching it. I loved getting to be involved. Like it was so awesome. I was like, this is amazing because like, when it's happening directly to you and you know that there wasn't anything set up ahead of time. There isn't any of that. Well, maybe they set this. No, there's none of that. You're like, no, this was not set up ahead of time. She's just
Yeah,
doing exactly what she's claiming, and it is awesome.
thank you. The first lecture I did, it was at, get how long ago it was. Oh God, maybe 10 years ago, seven, somewhere around there. It was at Poe's Magic Convention in Baltimore. And, I've been in Bizarre Magic for years, so I go to as many Bizarre Magic conventions as I can go to. That's one of my favorites. So I went, and afterward, I had so many people asking me, like, okay, so like, does it hurt you? Like, how does it feel when they do that? I told them, I was like, okay, just try to lift my hand off my head or just try to pick me up. So instead of selling my products, one of my friends went over to do that. I just had a line of people trying to lift my hand off my head or pick me up. Like, so they would do that. I'd,
That is,
sign their thing and they'd be on their way. So that was like,
oh, that is
I was like,
hilarious.
just make a line.
It's
That's fine.
great.
That's like the weirdest meet and greet of all time. It's like,
So
hey, can I get
weird.
a photo? No, no, no. You can try to lift my hand off my head.
Yeah,
What?
go for that one. Let me push your arm down, see if you can resist that.
How do
So,
you practice something like this? I know the answer. I know how you practice, but I want everyone else to hear. How did you,
What?
when you started learning it, how did you get your reps in?
How did I get my reps in? I would go to the biker bar in Myrtle Beach and I would bet drinks against the Hells Angels that they couldn't lift my
what?
hand off my head or lift me up.
No.
Yeah, I've got a road name and everything.
You would bet the
Yeah,
Hells Angels
I didn't. Okay,
drinks that
I
is
didn't know they were Hells
that is
Angels at first.
bomb diggity right
But I
there.
was there every week, every other week, and I would just go in. They knew me as the magic girl. I couldn't do cards because in South Carolina you cannot have cards on a bar. So I
Of
would do
course.
coins,
What?
right?
Of
Yeah,
course.
yep, no
This
cards on a
is that
bar.
a law?
It's a law. I was not allowed to have my cards out in a bar. They could not be on the bar because it was a gambling thing.
Wow.
And I was like,
Whoa.
it's just magic. They're like, no, no, no. So I did other stuff. I was like, hey, I'm working on some new stuff. Tell you what, I'll bet you a drink you can't pick me up. And for a while, my slogan was it was when I was still Tiffany Allen. It was Tiffany Allen, the hardest woman to pick up. And one of the guys, I
That's
told him, I was like,
awesome.
okay, try and pick me up. And he dropped a pickup line. And it was great. I was like, oh, that's funny because I love puns. But yeah, so I would get my reps in by going up to the bikers because I figured if I can handle rowdy bikers at a biker bar on like a Friday night, like I can handle anything.
Y- That
No wonder you
takes
did so good with that, Jason.
yeah, dude, that takes such guts to do that. Like I just want to know like did that idea just come out of nowhere? Like how did that come around? Because like that I remember when I first started doing magic like for people and like it required my buddy. We'd go out and he'd be like, bring it to cards. I'm like, okay. And then he would literally be like, he'd start talking to somebody, and then he'd go, hey, have you met my friend Jason? He does magic. And then they're like,
Have you met
it's like,
Jason?
oh gosh, So for you to be like, I'm going to go to a biker bar and I'm going to challenge a bunch of big macho dudes.
Hmm.
Did you get struck by lightning and that's how that idea came? Or
I
like, how'd
knew
that happen?
I met the owner in a shag dancing class because he was nationally ranked and he knew I did magic. And he was like, "You should come
A
down to the
what
bar."
dancing class?
Shag dancing. It's like
What
swing
is
dancing.
that?
It's like swing dancing, but
Oh, okay. In
your
the
hands are
United
free.
Kingdom, I feel like that'd
I
be a
know.
different
That's
type
why I
of
said
dancing.
dancing, shag dancing. So, but it originated in Myrtle Beach. It's basically swing dancing, but you can hold your beer. And so they have,
But you can't hold a deck of cards in a bar.
no, no, you cannot. But yeah, so he was like, oh, I went there because they were doing a shag dance thing, and I went and did some magic, and I was like, oh, kind of like it's close to my apartment, good drinks. I'll just start trying out stuff here. And I also knew Billy had my back should anything go awry, but nothing ever did. The one time somebody got a little bit out of line, the guys took care of him. Um, Not like that. They escorted him out. So
Oh wow, there you
yeah.
go. Those are good friends
So
to
I
have
had
right there.
bouncers. Yeah, I had bouncers. It was great.
Wow. Huh.
So a lot of this you learn from like the books that the original Georgia Wonders like wrote, right? And you sort of have to figure some of it out because they weren't
Yeah.
really they weren't like writing magic books, right? It was just more
No,
of like,
it was
yeah, I
an
don't even know how to
autobiography.
describe it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was an autobiography, and Lulu, who wrote her autobiography, that's the only thing I really had to go off of. And Barry Wiley took it and then made this huge book about her. But you got to remember, she was an 18-year-old in the 1890s who had made $1 million in a year, which is like 45 million today.
Good
So
Lord.
she's very self-aggrandizing when she writes, as she should be. So it's
Wow.
really hard to get through. But I'm fairly certain I've been through this book, a million times at this point. She did what all good Southern cooks do when you give a recipe to somebody and you leave out an ingredient or just, a little something that you do. So it's never as good as the way you do it. So I am almost 1,000% sure that is what she did because there were some things I'm like, that's not working right. And I have some friends that work at colleges, and so I got them to, get me coffee dates with some physics professors and stuff, and we worked through stuff. And so they helped me kind of reverse engineer some things.
Oh, that's cool.
That's
I feel
so
Yeah,
like
cool.
I feel like I've gone to lectures where lecturers told you what they do, except not all of it. Not your lecture, but
yeah.
I've been
No,
to magic lectures like that.
I give it all away. Honestly, I mean, Lulu's autobiography is public domain. Like everything in my book, you can get for free online. But mine's better and more up to date.
I
Wait, do
have
you have
my
mine?
I have it over here. I was looking, going. I know it's over here. I don't want to like go off the screen, but I know I literally have it because after the fact, I was like, I have to have
He
these
had to
lecture
have it
notes.
because he had to learn how to be strong. He,
I taught Jason Michaels how to be strong.
Let
that's
it
so
be
great.
said, let it be heard. There you
So
go.
one of the stunts, can we call it a stunt
Yeah,
demonstration?
that's what I call them.
Okay,
Yeah, I call them
okay.
stunts.
Is not being able to be lifted. And
Mhm.
I might be misremembering this, but didn't you say that uh sometimes like law enforcement is teaching that to
Yes.
kids to like prevent
Yep.
them from being taken and stuff?
Yeah. So my mom always has a massive Christmas party every year. And one year, our neighbor came over and he was a sheriff. And so I did the Georgia Wonder. And he came up to me afterward. He's like, I know how you did that. I'm like, yeah, it's magic. He's like, no, no, no. He's like, no, we teach that to kids to help prevent kidnappings because we teach them like how not to be lifted. And I was like, "Wait, it works with kids?"
Oh
And
wow.
so I told this story when I lectured at the Mark D'Souza's Maze convention, and Alex Hilsey was there, and she got my lecture notes. And a couple months later, she sent me the cutest video of her 6-year-old Treva doing it, where Alex is trying to lift her and she can't. And I asked Alex for permission to show the video in my lecture. But yeah, she tries to lift her little tiny 6-year-old. She can't do it. So yeah, law enforcement
Wow.
uses it to help prevent kidnappings and that kind of thing. Because like
It's
you
just so
cannot lift
cool.
it. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
so cool.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You got anything?
I've just been enjoying the conversation. I remember seeing the act at Winter Carnival, Tiffany, and it's so cool to watch it. Well, just echoing what the guy said, but it's so cool to watch it be performed live. This act that I had heard about and I didn't really know anything about. But the thing I really appreciated almost as much as seeing the demonstration was the nature of the lecture, because you did tie in the history and the story, and you've touched on some of it here. The story is so rich,
Yeah,
and it's such a fascinating. We had some conversations later on that evening after the convention at the party, about, this story deserves more visibility. So I think
it
it's
really
just
does.
phenomenal that you tie the history of everything into it, and it's like a lineage, right, in a way.
It is.
And
Yeah,
so talk a
absolutely.
little bit about that. And you are the heir apparent. You are the current Georgia Wonder. That's so
I'm the
cool.
Georgia Wonder. I'm the new Georgia Wonder.
Yeah.
Love it.
We are getting more of them. There are more people, mainly women, doing the Georgia
Yeah.
Wonder, and it makes me so happy. It
Yeah.
really does, because I mean, it can be used in so many different ways. I've used it at like empowerment seminars. You can do like spooky stuff where one person who bought my book, she does more like spooky kind of seancey stuff, and it was like, oh, you can't lift me because the ghosts are preventing you from lifting me,
Oh, that's
kind
cool.
of thing,
So
right?
cool.
And I mean, there's so many things. I do it in my kids' parties where it's like kind of a Tinkerbell thing where like, you pull the dads up and then the more you clap, the stronger Princess Tiff gets. So, I mean, there's so
Oh,
many different ways you can use this. Like, it's
I
just,
thought you were going to say that the kids couldn't lift you, and I was like, that's
no, no,
weird.
no, you pull up the dads usually. Because and I typically pull up men because I'm just looking for the biggest person in the room. Like,
Yeah.
that's all I'm looking
Right.
for. And I mainly perform magic conventions, so usually that's what you get. But I have used women that are bigger than me, non-binary, all that. But I'm literally just looking for the biggest person in the room that doesn't have back or shoulder issues. That's all I'm
Hmm.
looking for.
Yet.
Yep. When they get thrown off into the
Yeah.
orchestra pit, though, game's off.
Yep, you're gonna walk away
Game
with something you didn't have
over.
before. Medical debt.
So you've mentioned like bizarre magic and other spooky things. You're a spooky gal. Do you want to talk about that at all? I
It's
know that you
my
You
have
mean that in
like
the most
season.
You're,
endearing way
I
possible,
feel
right, Ben?
I feel like we should start a song. You're a spooky
You're a spooky
gal. Oh,
gal.
yes, you are.
'cause I know you've got some things in the works. I know you have like a spooky show.
Yeah,
Yeah, do you want to talk about any of that?
I want to talk about all the spooky stuff. It is spooky season, and I'm so freaking happy I get to be in the States for Halloween because like they don't do anything for Halloween over in Europe. So I'm just
Oh,
stoked. I'm
boo.
like, I know, literally.
Boo.
You know
Boo.
what? That's because they have Krampus and they're like, we wait to Christmas to give you the demons.
Right?
It's
To
like,
be
what?
terrifying. No, like last year at my office, like only two of us dressed up for Halloween. I was so disappointed. So I'm
Oh.
I'm going all out this year. But yeah, so my full show is called The Forgotten Library. And basically, I am a librarian that doesn't know she's dead. She's kind of a
Oh.
ghost. And she's telling these stories. And the way I built it is start off with the Georgia Wonder, of course. And I became so interested in that history. I was like, what if I did this with other magic stuff? So every effect in the show has a real life story from history that nobody's really heard of. Like I do a smash and stab, which I'm very proud of. I wish I'd gotten to do that at Winter Carnival because it's really freaking good.
Hmm.
But I do it with hat pins instead of like knives
Oh.
or anything. And I mean they're pretty big. They're about a foot. So like, that's one of them. I do one about a witch who was a or one of her descendants was Margaret Atwood, who wrote The Handmaid's Tale. So all of it ties back to real things that you can research and see, yeah, these are real. But it all has that kind of air of like kitschy, spooky, a little bit, like kind of haunted mansion esque, where it's like fun, spooky, but maybe just a little bit too scary, just a little bit.
That sounds so fun. Now, okay, I want to take a minute because we were talking right before we started recording that apparently I'm becoming known for going on rants about things. So
Adjacent rant.
here,
Here we
no,
go.
but here's what I want to talk about just for a second. because it strikes me. So we've known each other for a while, a couple of years, and I certainly know that you did the Georgia Wonder Act. But here's the problem in my mind with sort of like the magic community is there's all these talented people doing all these things that we never hear about. Like, for instance,
Yeah.
I don't know whose fault it is that I didn't really know that you're as into the spooky, like fun, magic, haunted castle type of stuff as you
Mm.
are.
It's
And
Ben's fault.
as good,
It's always Ben's fault.
what did he say?
It's
Ben's
Ben's fault. It's always Ben's fault.
Yeah, that's
So,
fine.
so I'm just a little frustrated by the fact I'm a lot frustrated because here's what I just think there's so many really
Unfrustrating.
talented magicians who are out there that are not getting their opportunity. Like, for instance, have you ever performed at the IBM convention? I'm sorry, I didn't hear your answer. Did she say no?
She's been muted somehow, impossibly.
Are you there?
It-
Oh no, okay.
Oh, there you
So
go.
okay, one more time. Yes or no? Have you performed at the IBM convention?
No, I haven't.
Oh, I wonder whose fault that is. IBM.
And Ben.
What's funny is there's two Bens in this equation. There's Ben Young and there's Ben Barnes.
That's true. And Ben Barnes. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that, but that does work. Doesn't it?
No, but I mean, and just okay. Look, I'm just gonna get a little pissed off for a second. That if the situation is that we have all these really great performers who maybe they're look, it's wonderful, and I am a huge fan of the legends of the magic world. I want to see Michael Amar. I do because he's unbelievable. But it also really
I want to
irritates
use him
me.
for the Georgia Wonder. That's what I want to use Amar for.
Yeah, because he's
He's
a stout
jacked.
guy. He's a
Who
stout
knew?
guy.
That would be amazing. And I love, he's just he seems to be
He's so
such this
sweet.
incredibly nice guy. But it annoys me that we have these people who should be known. Like, for instance, you're not like, you've been around the magic community for a while, Tiff. Why is it that we have these conventions? And look, I don't care if the people at the IBM get ticked off of me. I'm the president-elect of the organization. I'll tell you right now, apparently somebody is screwing up by not hiring people who are insanely talented, can do these really cool things that nobody has ever seen, and they're not bringing them to our damn convention. What is the problem? Now, that is a legitimate question. I'm asking the three of you, what is the problem? Go nuts. I've just given you carte blanche to tell us whatever you want to say.
Oh, I didn't think we'd have to respond to that. I thought you were just going to say your thing and then we'd wrap up.
We're not on the radar. Like, I feel like.
Okay, Tiff, let's just get honest. Let's get really hardcore here for a second.
Okay.
Have you been trying to be on the radar? Because something tells me that you have been.
Yeah,
you've been trying to be on the radar, but you're not on the radar. So why are you not on the radar? Who's not opening? Why are these doors not opening for people? Look, I'm going to tell you right
Patreon
now.
Page, we will name names.
Look, I'll use myself as an example. This has been a contentious point for me for years. I've been in magic for 26 years, and I took second place at the IBM in 2005, and I've never performed at the IBM convention. What the hell is going on here? I'm serious. Like, what is the problem? Why do we have people who are doing really hard things, who are out there doing everything they can to push themselves into the actual limelight, and they're not getting their chances? Somebody give me a reason. You literally have, and I agree with you, it's because the doors are not opening. But why? What is the issue? What is the problem? Is it because I don't create tricks? Is it because, I'm not the guy who people want to hear lecture from because I don't have a bunch of new tricks for them to buy? Somebody give me a real answer, because now I was in a great mood and now I'm kind of ticked.
I think it's because to get booked, you have to be front. Like, you have to be front and center constantly. Like, I'm on a convention committee. So when we're trying to get names, when we're trying to book talent and stuff, it's like, okay, who can we get? Who can we get? And I've tried to make sure that, like, we can get, like, not fringe talent, but, we're going to have big names, of course. Like, that's how you're going to get people to come to the convention. But also making sure that, like, the people who don't have a platform or, like, aren't as well known are there. And so the convention that I work for is called Tricks. And one thing that we do, or that Scott does, he runs it, every year we have a newcomer lecture. So it's somebody that hasn't lectured before but has really good
Great.
stuff. And that is how we open every year. But also, like, it's a small convention. We keep it to about 200 people. But I think that with these, bigger conventions and everything, it's who's blown up on TikTok,
Good
who's
point.
made the newest thing, who's done this. It's if you're not front of mind,
Yeah.
you're not there. Like, they're not going to think about you until you show up at the convention. That's also why I like going to conventions, because like
You're
they're
more
going to see
visible.
your face and be like,
Mhm.
oh, you do that thing. Here, let's exchange business cards. Like, it's a lot of schmoozing.
Yeah.
And like, I'm still not great at it. But I will say that like living in France has made it easier for me to get booked both in France and over here. Because when I'm in France, I'm imported. Oh, we have the American. When I'm over here, oh,
Mhm.
she's American, but she lives in France now, so I'm somewhat imported. So
That's a
like
good point.
that's helped, and that keeps me kind of front of mind. But
So Jason,
sometimes they're not necessarily booking me for
Jason, you need to move to
Georgia Wonder.
Denmark
Come on over to France. We'd love to have you. The
or
bread is
France. France is
fantastic.
good.
Jason could be the gray elephant.
Hey, is that because
From
my
Denmark.
hair's getting a little bit,
Yeah. Um, and in regards to like magic conventions specifically, they're trying to sell registration, and we know how hard it is to sell registrations to
Yeah.
magic conventions. So they are, and this is nothing against you, Tiffany, or anybody else, but they're trying to use the people that have the big draw so that people will come. That's why they put Michael MR on there. I mean, because you're like, oh, I want to go see this guy. And that's something that is really great about like Magic Live, for example, is not knowing the lineup,
Yeah.
but knowing that you're going to have fun and that you're going to see some amazing people. It gives Stan the ability to bring in people that maybe you haven't heard of,
Right.
because you're already there. It's getting people there in the first place. And so it's a weird like cart before the horse kind of thing, I think, or chicken before the egg. I don't know. It's pick your metaphor.
is
It's
there
do you
chicken before a horse or a
it's
cart?
it's
Chicken
it's
before the
it's
cart.
it's the chicken before the cart.
It's
It
a
is
The egg before the horse.
that old
boiling an egg
saying.
cart full of
There
chicken.
we go.
An egg cart. It's do you hire people for a convention that maybe people don't know and you risk not selling enough registrations, or
But
do you hire people that you know a lot of people know and they're going to come because of that, but then you're not exposing them to new people?
why does it have to be either or? Why
Right.
can't it be both?
Well, I mean, it doesn't.
I
It
mean, that's
doesn't,
what we
but
do.
that's
That's
the
what Scott does
simplification
at
of it.
Tricks. I mean, like,
I love what you guys are doing at Tricks. I think it's fantastic. And Jay, we
it's
need
a
to
great
take that.
convention.
We need
It's
to
a
share that with the
fantastic
powers that
convention.
be. There's no reason why there's no reason why it's not worthy of a discussion to have a newcomer kind of lecture and even apply the same thing to performers.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Make
It's-
it a feature, not a bug.
Exactly. Make it a feature, not a bug.
Yeah.
Exactly
Yeah.
right. Because that's what
There
it
we go.
is. It is a feature, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, yeah.
And that is the one thing that Scott keeps a secret. Like, we never know. Even me on the board, I usually don't know who the newcomer lecturer is until the day.
Yeah.
Unless I'm like their talent and they're like point person. I don't know who it is.
And that's interesting too. I mean, even if you wanted to bring in multiple, newcomers, and you just have a block in the convention of this section is going to be a surprise,
Yeah.
and we're going to expose you to people you haven't seen before,
Yeah.
or maybe haven't seen before.
I do want to point out, based on you all have reminded me that going to the I.B.M convention the last number of years, our talent booker Ben Barnes over the last several years, he has booked some folks that I've never heard of that came in and have done just fantastic stuff. I mean, every year there's somebody, at least one, if not two or three people that I'm like, I have no idea who this person is, and then they show up and you're like, oh wow, okay, so this is the reason they're here. Yeah. So they are doing good work. I just
and Ben is trying to book me. The other Ben is trying to book me for Chicago. It's more of a logistics thing for me because I have a day job and all that. But and I'm like, okay, I need to take vacation because there's no way I can work and then go do a show and then do it all again the next day.
Sure, absolutely. Wow. We have a few minutes left. Tiff, was there anything you were like, I'd love to discuss this, or I want to tell this
Mm.
story, or anything that you're just like on fire to talk about, or maybe
I
you
feel like
want
I'll
to.
come up with something in like 10 minutes or like
Yeah,
an
right
hour,
after
but
we
I
completely,
know, right?
wrap it
Yeah.
up.
The
Absolutely.
Jason,
George
you said that
Costanza
you and
thing.
Tiffany had a show coming up. Maybe you could talk
Yeah,
about
we do.
that.
Let's circle
Oh,
back around to
good
that.
good job, Scott. Well
So
done.
Ooh.
there's a show coming up October 26th. That's at the Lab at Zany's here in Nashville, Tennessee. It's actually a fundraiser show. I was talking to the person who is putting the whole show together recently, and she just told me that there is a. To make a long story short, there's a woman here who is homeless in one of the surrounding areas of Nashville, and this person is helping to raise funds so that this 71-year-old elderly homeless woman who was abused as a young person, and obviously that goes into many of the reasons I'm sure that she's homeless today, but trying to raise money to sort of secure housing. They've been able
Mhm.
to keep her off the street since the beginning of this year, but they want to continue that. And so the show that Tiffany and I are doing is with Stephen Bargatze, and it's
Woohoo.
October 26th, and Stephen is the headliner, and I'm going to go up there and try to do my thing. I'm not going to try to do my thing. I'll actually do my thing. So, but
Good luck.
I'll do it.
As long as Tiffany doesn't zap your strength.
As long as I
All
can
right.
get
Am
on
I
the stage.
before or after you? Because
That's a good question. Yeah, I don't know.
I'll
We'll
go
have to
I'll
figure
go
that out.
before you, and then you'll just like crawl on stage. Like, I can't do it.
I'm weak. So,
I'm
what are you?
weak.
Have you thought about are you going to do the Wonder Act? What do you, or do you, have you
Yeah,
thought
I mean,
about
that
it?
was what he asked me to do. I'm not exactly sure how long I'm supposed to do,
Yeah.
but I do pride myself that I have. I mean, that's like the one act I don't really need props for, but my other stuff, I have props in both the US and in France, so I don't have to travel with them anymore.
That's right.
Because that was getting really stressful for me. Like, you come to the country and you're like, oh crap, I forgot this one thing I need, and it's an 8-hour plane ride away. So yeah, definitely the Georgia Wonder stuff. Um, because I mean that's what I'm known for, but I have other stuff that I really like doing too. So while I like doing the Georgia Wonder, I think it's not gonna phase out, but I might start highlighting some of my other stuff too. Because I've worked on it just as long. But for
I
this
like
one,
how
I think Georgia Wonder.
I like how you said you have props in America and props in France. Props are in my under. You know what? I shouldn't finish that sentence.
Look at Ben's
It
face.
just made me think of a rhyme that we
Ben's
used to do
face.
when we
Ben
were
looks
kids.
Ben
so
was like Ben was
concerned.
like we were doing so good for like
Ben's
56
like, where
minutes.
is
We were
HR?
like perfect.
We
And then
Into
we
HR.
everyone had forgotten about the stool sample joke. I mean, we were so
We're
close.
cruising.
We were so close.
Oh gosh.
Not the face palm, the full
Oh
on.
gosh.
The
I'll tell you
literal.
what.
It's shame.
So it's going to be we're going to have a lot of fun, whether you bring your
Yeah,
props or
but go
not.
to the show. Go to the show at
Yeah,
Zane.
go to
Go
the
Buy
to the
tickets.
show.
Support the
Please come to
cause.
the show.
Yeah.
It'll be a good time. You'll get to see, because Tiff does live in France, you will actually get to see, it's one of the rare occasions to see her do this extraordinarily cool act here in America. So if you're anywhere within, a couple hours drive of Nashville on October 26th, I highly recommend coming out and checking it out if you can. So,
Even if you're not nearby, come anyway.
yeah.
yeah,
Take a
absolutely.
plane. That's fine.
So let's, you have any other appearances you want to mention, Tiff? Otherwise, we're going to see where the boys are going to be.
Yeah, I don't think I do. Oh no, I do. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm doing one in Newberry. Yes, I can talk about that. In Newberry, South Carolina. The day before
Nice.
that one.
The day
So
before?
the day before, I will be
Ooh.
leaving at like 4 or 5 a.m. to get there on time.
Okay.
So
Wow.
yeah, but I've got those, and then I have some coming up in France. I'll be doing a showcase in December, and stay tuned. There's some other things going on in France that will be launching in April.
That's awesome.
So we'll see about that. If you're in France, I'm launching a magic show ghost tour.
That's fantastic.
Through
That is
Paris.
cool.
Yep.
Nice.
Fantastic idea.
Haunts Couture. So follow me on all the socials and I'll keep that update. Right How great is that
I
name?
love that. That is awesome.
Jason just bought a plane ticket. He's like,
I
I
know,
have
right?
to be there.
This is awesome.
No,
I love
we're
it.
launching in April. We'll be doing it through the summer. So if you're in Paris this summer, come see me. Yeah, I'll be the one leading it and all that. So it'll be fun.
But you're doing some exciting things, Tiff. Thank you for being a
Yeah.
guest on the podcast. It's awesome
Thank you
to
for
have
having
you
me.
here. Absolutely. Ben, are you going to be anywhere in the next couple of weeks towards the end of October?
Towards the end of October, I think on the same day that you all are doing that show, I'll be up at the Nevermore in Louisville.
Oh, nice.
Doing like a family friendly Halloween show, or I think multiple shows that day.
Yep.
But I'll be up there, and the rest is various private events and House
I
of
think I
Cards
saw your
stuff.
tickets are available on Eventbrite right now, aren't they?
I think they are.
I'm pretty sure they are.
No,
So
they are. They
look
are.
up the
Yeah.
Nevermore and Ben Young, and if you're anywhere within a few hours drive of Louisville, you can go check him out.
Come hang out with me.
Absolutely,
Scott. Pretty sure haunted house.
Yeah, no kidding. I will be at House of Cards here and there. Have a bunch of private stuff in October, and then we'll be setting a date for the next show at the Kava Lounge in just right here in Nashville. Probably at some point toward the end of October. So be on the lookout.
Cool. Okay, great. I just as a last little tease, I just want to mention that I just premiered a project I worked on for about 3 years. Actually, it's more like 4 years. A 4-year long project just premiered on my YouTube channel. The project is called Magician in the Kitchen. We're going to talk about it on the next podcast.
Good.
But if you like cooking, if you like magic, and you like the idea of a magician learning how to cook and doing magic tricks with items around the kitchen, whether it's ingredients in the recipes or whether it's actual kitchen props, check out Magician in the Kitchen. It is on the Jason Michaels Magic YouTube page. It is also on my website, where you can go under television, and it's that website is jasonmichaelsmagic.com. Let me know what you think about it. It's a project that we're trying to get made and trying to get it on a streaming service or a network. And if nothing else, we just are looking for some folks to get behind it so that we can produce an entire season, even if the only place we put it is on YouTube, because that is the place now where so many creative projects are being launched. So check out Magician in the Kitchen. If you want to learn more about the International Brotherhood of Magicians, the place for you to go is magician.org. That is magician.org. You can learn more about our convention coming up that hopefully we can get Tiffany Allen at sometime in the next 10 years. If you want to reach out to us and let us know what you think about the show, check out the show notes, because all of our social handles are on the show notes. Leave us a review, subscribe to the podcast, so the next time that we put out a new episode, you will hear about it. Friends, Ben, Scott, Tiffany, thank you for being here. This has been the International Brotherhood of Magicians official podcast, and we wish you well. Take care, y'all. Have a happy Halloween.
Thanks all. Great to see you, Tiffany.
Good to see y'all.